What is up, everybody? I am your host, Rob Younce, and thank you for tuning back into the Canecast Show. If today's your first episode, you are in for a treat. If you've been with us before, we really appreciate you coming back. But either way, today's guest was a first rounder in the 2015 draft and a first round dude every single day. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Please help us grow this show. How can you do that? Well, first of all, smash the like button. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast host, give us a like, smash the like button. 2, you can drop us a comment to let us know what you like or you don't like about the show. 3, help us grow the community by subscribing. This lets others know that this show is legit. 4, show us some love with a review. Or 5, share it. Share an episode. Share our links. Send this to your friends and enemies who are missing baseball right now. Today's guest is none other than Canes alum and Detroit Tigers pitcher, Beau Burrows. He's knocking on MLB's door with a big league arm. You'll learn about Red Dragon's time with the Canes, as well as his focus, accountability, and determination. You'll hear about Beau's true love for the game while he dishes great advice for amateur players. You'll hear Beau talk about the importance of being a good teammate and being extremely coachable, especially by coaches like Jeff Petty and Jason Big Donkey Mills. Be sure to take notes while Beau talks, or his knowledge will blow straight past you, just like his fastball. So, here's Beau. Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Younce here with another awesome edition of the Canecast Show. We've got 2 really cool guests. One's kind of a little bit of a co-host, maybe, but we've got a total dude down at the bottom of the screen, man. He is awesome. We are bringing, Beau Burrows. There he is. Look at him. Look at that smile. That's a big league smile. So happy to have you on today, man. How's it going?
Appreciate it. Good. I'm out here in Fort Worth, Texas, enjoying the heat, trying to quarantine as best I can, even though we're slowly opening up Texas again, but everything's going well.
Good, man. That's awesome to hear. And I know we'll get into some of the things you're doing baseball-wise, man, but it's so awesome to see you. Last time I saw you, I think it was at an airport somewhere. We were going to Jupiter for your little brother was playing or something like that.
He was going to Jupiter. I think it was 2018. Fall, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's when it was.
That's so cool. Yeah, just walking through the airport. You know, when you're going out of Jupiter, you just randomly run into guys. But I totally didn't expect to see you there, man. It was so cool.
Awesome. Good surprise.
You look around, you're like, oh, hey, there's Beau. And up on the top left on my screen, at least, is none other than Jason Mills. What's up, Millsy?
Happy to be here. Living the dream.
Living the dream. You're gonna yell for some meatloaf here in a second. Mom, get the meatloaf.
With a great backdrop too.
You ruined it, man. I had that ready. I never know what she's doing back there.
I don't know what she's doing back there. What is she doing? So for those of you that don't know, Jason Mills is the pitching coach. Well, he's a head coach at D.H. Conley in Greenville, North Carolina. And he's the pitching coach for our Canes National 17. And that's why we brought him on, because he got to work directly with Beau. Beau is with the Detroit Tigers, as I said, working his way through the system and going to be up on the big league roster here soon. Beau, tell us a little bit about your baseball journey, maybe even before, start off before you even were with the Canes, and take us through your time with the Canes, if you would.
Yeah, so I started playing select ball when I was 8, so that was really young for kids in my area. I played on a local team out of Weatherford, Texas, where I'm from, and then slowly kept going east towards Metroplex. Started playing for the D-Bat Mustangs for a little bit, and then the summer before my junior year, I guess, was when Jeff Petty found me and saw me and called and said, "Hey, we'd love you to come play for us. We're the Canes. We're a pretty big deal." And and sure enough, the next summer when I started with the Canes, that's when things took off, and I'm just so grateful that I could have got the chance to do that with those guys and the coaching staff. And I mean, if it wasn't for the Canes, I don't think I would have been where I was. And it was just awesome to play for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you did get to work with Millsy, I guess, your senior year. Millsy, what do you remember about Beau as a high schooler? What do you remember about him back then?
I think the the first weekend, or the first time I got to experience and be around Beau, we were at Perfect Game National, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I was sitting there, and I was kind of like the, throwing BP coach of that team. Perfect Game kind of gives you the lineup and tells you what to do, and you just kind of go stand there and coach bases. And so it was my first experience meeting him and a couple of the guys. And when I saw the first pitch out of his hand, I picked up the phone and called Jeff and said, "Thank you." I said, this was my first year with Jeff as well. And so, I wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, I had some pretty talented kids before with some other clubs, and man, when I saw the ball come out of his hand, it was special. It was just like one of those wow factors. And, you probably have 700 of the best kids in the country, and then all of a sudden here comes Beau Burrows, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is it. This is the guy right here. And I just couldn't wait to get with them. And then the first weekend was in Charlotte, if I remember correctly. And I can't remember what field we were going to, but we were playing at like 8 a.m. And I am not a morning person. And so we go down in the bullpen, and he's throwing down there. And man, my head was ringing from the ball off at the catcher's mitt. It was just popping all over the place. And he went out, and, it was a blessing. I mean, the big thing I can tell you about Beau and besides the competitiveness is how much I got a chance to, because with pitchers there's just so many different styles out there, but he was the first guy that I had really ever been around that had a routine. And as dealing with guys at a high level, this was a good experience for me. High school kids don't have this, but he had a professional work about him. The moment I met him, he had to long toss a certain distance, and other teams would sit out there be amazed at watching him long toss the way he did. I don't know if he still does. That's going to be a fun thing to talk about, what he does with Detroit now. But I remember a couple things. One was a championship game in Atlanta that year. That elite squad was just sitting there amazed watching him long toss before the game. And then they knew they didn't have a great chance at hitting him. They were trying to keep him on the mound as long as they could. They were an amazing club and battled him. But, he got better and better as the game went. But I remember we were in Jupiter, and Bo, correct me if I'm wrong, we had to leave our regular pool play game to go get you ready for your first round start in the playoffs. I know you've thrown a lot and probably don't remember it, but me and you left a game and went and started your routine to get ready for the playoffs because we had already gotten in and we had that game in hand. So Jeff sent us on our way with our catcher to start getting ready. Because it's tough at these showcase tournaments because you get on the field and you got like 20 minutes.
Yeah, you got to get going.
Back then, right? And Bo, you need probably 45 to 50 minutes with all your stuff that you like to do, right?
Yeah, I'd say from beginning to end, probably 30, 45 minutes, yeah. Sounds about right.
And so Bo was great for me. I mean, because, it really taught me, and that's a good thing about coaches, if they're willing to learn from their players. And Bo was really great for me in my ability to go and learn more, to see a different style of pitcher, a different, routine, and just a competitor, man. He was amazing to work with.
Well, and I think too, Jason, along those lines is that, and I don't know why I called you Jason. I don't know anybody who calls you Jason. I know, doesn't it? Right, Millsy. So the thing is, a lot of teams, especially teams that we play against, the Canes organization plays against a lot of times. It's, hey man, toss the ball to the guy and go. But there's a little bit more hands-on. There's a lot more. At least I feel when I see it. I'm on the teams that I'm coaching against. I see players throwing BP. But it's nice to hear. Bo's got to go get ready for a start, and you're with him and making sure he's staying on his routine. You're getting a feel for him. It's interesting the way that it's run. But so Beau, you heard all those things about you. I mean, did you know that Millsy and Jeff felt that way about you? I mean, we all knew you had a huge arm talent, but hearing about your routine and your work ethic and things like that, I mean, is that something that you've heard from us before?
No, it's not. I didn't know that played a big factor in them like knowing who I was. So it's cool to know that. I mean, it just shows that Millsy and Jeff just cared so much about the players, and they wanted to know what would make them the best they could be and what they could do to help them develop the right way. And I've had a pretty strict and pretty different routine, I guess, because I grew up doing the Texas baseball ranch stuff with Flint Wallace since I was like 9 years old, and it was a lot of weighted balls, a lot of long toss type stuff, and just throwing as hard as you can, and that's what I did all through middle school, high school. I just threw hard, and I would just try and throw hard, and they just accepted the fact that I had a routine, and they went with it, and they, I guess, they were all for it because it stayed with them, and we just kept going out.
Well, and it's not that bad when you got a guy blowing 90s past guys. I mean, you throw 92, 95, 96. I mean,
there you go.
We'll roll you out a little bit, let you go. And then the neat thing is, I remember in Jupiter, I was down there that year, and I remember watching, your last outing there, and really looking into the dugout, and there's some really talented hitters on the other side of them going, you can just see it. You can sense it. They're going, man, we're going to really struggle to score some runs today. And that's got to be, as a pitcher, I know you probably were a little bit caught up in the moment, but I know as coaches, it's a lot nicer to see and notice that feeling, which you probably got it a lot growing up. Tell us about a little bit of adversity you faced in high school or up until the draft. I mean, were there times where you were just sitting there going, man, I don't know about this today, or man, maybe I'm in the middle of a game and it's like, I just don't feel it. Tell us about some of those times and how you got through those.
The thing for me in high school was I always had a fastball. I mean, I didn't know where it was going, but I always threw hard in high school. My off speed wasn't great, but I just kept throwing it until it eventually got better. And I mean, no matter how bad it started out, I would keep throwing it just to try and repeat the delivery and just hopefully find it. But the big thing for me was the off-speed stuff. But like the fastball was always there, but it was always up. I mean, maybe a little spotty, but I'd say the off-speed stuff. And then going into the draft, a lot of scouts they thought, or they said I was too short to be a starter, which I mean I'm a solid 6'6'1". I mean I say 6'2" on the lineup card, but doesn't really matter. 6'2" in cleats is what I always say. But they always said I was too short, and I just thought, man, if you can pitch, you can pitch. It doesn't matter how tall you are. So I mean, any guys that think they're short or been told they're short, I mean, as long as if you just go out there and pitch and be a bulldog and just have fun with it and just be yourself. It doesn't matter how big you are. If you can pitch, you can pitch. And that's what I would say. When anybody says just go out there and just be you, just pitch, have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that, they want guys 6'5", 6'6", downhill with plane. But when the way you throw, you have so much life on your fastball. It really kind of speaks for itself. And, like Millsy was talking about that first weekend of his ears ringing from the mitt popping. I mean, that's legit, bro. I mean, that really is. And looking at your numbers, you're throwing, you're striking out in your minor league career so far, striking out 433 and 468 innings. That life is there, man. The tilt and the plane is there. Tell us, leading up to the draft, how – what was it like? I mean, the excitement, what did you do draft day? Tell us a little bit about that.
So in my high school season, there were always I'd say 10 to 20, 25 scouts at every game. I remember one game, I was facing Trent Clark's team. Now it's Trent Grisham. He was with the Padres now, I think. So him and I hit each other, and it was a scrimmage, and I was only throwing 3 innings, but our coaches made a deal where Trent could lead off every inning that I was pitching, so the scouts could see him hitting against me 3 times. And that game, I'm not kidding, there were probably about 70, 75 scouts, like scouts, GMs. It was insane. And I struck him out one time. He hit a really hard line out center field one time, and I think he rolled over. So it was kind of even, which is good. But like besides that, and it was crazy. Like we had area scouts coming to the house once a week to do like questionnaires and in-home visits, and it was just so surreal being a 18-year-old kid and talking about professional baseball. It was weird.
Right.
But I mean, I loved it. And then sure enough, I had a good senior season. And my agents were doing their work. They were talking to the teams up to the draft, and they were saying, you're probably going to go like late first, early second round. I was like, all right, that's perfect, because I mean, we had a number. And so I mean, I'm watching the draft. We're at like pick 15. My agent calls me, and I'm like, what is this? Like, there's no way. And he's like, hey man, there's a possibility at 22 with the Tigers. But if that doesn't happen, then probably like later first round. I was like, all right, cool. Like, there's no way I'm gonna go 22nd overall. That's not what we were thinking. I was like, but that'd be awesome. And sure enough, pick number 21, Ash Russell goes to the Royals, and I was like, let's go. Like after my third, and then 22, they called my name, and it was just it was crazy. I had my family, team, close friends. It was a wild time, and it was just a weight off my shoulders to hear my name called. And then, man, the rest is history, I guess. It's just been a fun ride, and I just can't wait to see how much better it gets as I keep playing, you know. But the draft was one of the best days of my life for sure.
That's awesome. You know what? I love seeing the look on your face as you're talking about it. You know, you could just tell which I couldn't imagine, you know, being picked that high. That's absolutely incredible. And you mentioned Ash, and Ash is an awesome dude. He played with us. So Millsy, you guys, before we get into pro ball, let's talk a little bit about some stories from the Canes dugout with you and Boski and some of the guys. So if I remember correctly, that was probably the first year you guys got walkie-talkies. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was. I think they had them before us, but the coaching staff would always lose them. So Jeff handed me those 2 yellow walkie-talkies, which I still have, and he told me not to lose them. So it was kind of like assignment of that. And that year we had some characters. I mean, we had, you know, so we were going down and everything, and Beau ended up being Red Dragon. And I'll never forget that one. I can't remember how he came up with that. I think
no idea where that came from.
You kind of pitch with fire in you a little bit, so maybe that was the dragon. It was, man, that group was amazing. And, you know, the thing I'll say about Beau is even after he was done with us and we won Jupiter that year, I think the next year you came back down to Jupiter and we won it again, did we not? And you were there in the dugout with us. And, you know, he every time he gets a chance to come back and kind of be with the roots of our program, he has always supported us. And you know, now I love looking down in the dugout and seeing my pitchers down there kind of, you know, talking to Beau. He might not know these 17-year-old kids, and he's 21, 22 years old, but he's sitting here passing on what he knows or what he's learned, or, you know, what it means to be a Cane to these kids. that's one of the great things. And Beau's class was the first big class I was with Jeff and those guys. And so, it means a lot to see him. It means a lot to talk to him today. I mean, he'll always be important to me. And he was one of the guys that year that I was very close to. And, he presented himself that whole year as what we want back then an Evo Shield cane, now just canes guys should be, and really helped us put our program on the map. I mean, that he was a big addition to us that year, and he made my transition and the confidence Jeff had in me as a coach a lot more, and then taught me a lot too. And there were some tough times in there. I mean, when Beau came to us, he would throw 60 pitches in 3 innings, and we were hoping to get 5 innings out of a guy like that. And he said it before, he was up in the zone a lot and tried to strike out just about everybody. Mm-hmm. But his last outing in Jupiter for us, I think you went five no-hit innings that first round in the playoffs. And, man, it was just punch in the zone. And, it's these guys at the high level, he was starting to learn to put his fastball in play. Now it's just make a miss, and then all of a sudden that breaking ball I remember that day, it was really dominant.
Really good. Yeah.
5 innings ball at Jupiter is amazing. And the pitch count was good. He probably could have gone longer, but I think we mercy ruled that team, if I'm not mistaken, and so you couldn't go any further. And, it was one of those years, one of those players that, for me as a coach will always affect me, and that's what Beau was. I mean, he taught me so much, and about how to coach, and it's a rarity you get a young man like that, and that's why I'm excited that we're going to see him on TV here shortly with the Detroit Tigers, or if someone else values what he is, he's going to be with somebody else in the big leagues. And the nice thing is I have one of my high school players that is going to be with them probably this year, and Bryant Packard, another Tiger. So, I'm going to hear stories about how they're going to be getting in trouble or whatever it is, and or moving their way up into the big leagues. No trouble, right, Beau? And so it's amazing that the people that you're fond of seem to find a way to be together or have some some sort of bond. Here's Bryant Packard, 2 to 3 years after Beau, and goes the college route, and then gets up there, and these guys are going to be making it together, and it's going to be a special day when I get to go up to Detroit and see both of those guys playing.
Yeah, and Troy Stokes. Got Stokes there too. So yeah,
Matt Manning too. I mean,
Matt Manning. I mean, such a small world, right?
Yeah,
the neat thing about it, Millsy, is I never coached Beau. I just kind of had been around him. But to see, again, I go back to Jupiter a couple of years ago. He just lit up when he saw me. He came over and hugged me. I mean, it speaks volumes of how he's raised and the type of kid he is. He's, Dad sat down and talked with me for a little while. Talked to his little brother. And it was just like we were sitting around a kitchen table. Just great people. And those are the people that Beau, as you get older. I mean, you're only 23 now. As you get older, you're going to see that those are the people that you root for in life. Those are the people that you want great things for. People, kids that come in and take care of their business. They're not troublemakers. They go and do their job. They've got a process, or they want to learn a process. Yeah. It makes things really easy as coaches. And as you get older, you're the guy that all these old guys are hopefully throwing knowledge to right now. What are some of the things? I mean, you're on the 40-man. You got up into spring training this year. What are some of the things that you've learned just in your short career after transitioning from high school into pro ball? What are some of the changes you've made, I guess, and some of the pieces that have really stuck with you?
Biggest thing for me is to be coachable. I mean, there's so many coaches that want to have a say in what they've told you, and like they want to have a say in your success. But you got to know what to take in for yourself and what to throw away. But you got to be coachable. So you can't be like, I mean, you can't just ignore the guys that are talking. You gotta be coachable. You gotta filter out the bad things and then consume the good things, obviously. And then also just I mean, you got to love the game. It's a different kind of animal. I mean, you've got to love it. I mean, I played with some guys that didn't love it and they didn't last. I mean, but the guys that I play with and I know they love it, they're going to play for a long time. They're good ball players. They love the game, and for me, it's just be coachable and just have fun, be yourself, love the game. If you don't love it, it's gonna bite you in the butt for sure.
Yeah, and those are two great pieces. Those are two great pieces because, you know, that's how you're going to get through the rough times. You know,
Right.
when you're up on the mound and you're struggling a little bit, you know, it makes it easier to digest and say, all right, well, let's go back to what I know how to do, and let's step by step and get me through this. And then when you're on the road and in between a series or something like that, and you're doubting yourself, it's easy if you don't love it to just say, all right, I'm packing my stuff and leaving. I'm just not, this isn't for me. But watching your face, and it's going to be cool when you see this video, because every time you start talking about baseball, you just get this big grin on your face. You're like a little kid, and it's awesome to see.
I feel like one, man. I just love it. I mean, everybody always asks, like, when I come home for options, they're like, so how's the season? Good. I mean, you still love it? I mean, yeah, I love it. I mean, I don't want to do anything else. I'm going to play this until I can't play it anymore. So that's the goal.
Dude, that's so great. I love seeing that. That just pumps me up so much. So tell me about some of the adjustments you've made in pro ball, either to your routine or to delivery, pitch design. What have you done? How have you evolved since you've been a pro pitcher?
So we were talking about before pro ball how I long toss all the time. I don't really long toss in season anymore. I only long toss in the off season. If there's like an off day where I get an extra day, I'll long toss one of those days. But it's constant throwing, constant running, lifting, that it's kind of nonsense to long toss all the time when you're in pro ball because of the workload. So I've toned down the throwing a little bit. I'll apply, like, normally I'll go to 120, and that's why the average length that I'll go to is about 120 on a good day, because I mean it's pitch, day off, light day-ish, and then next day is bullpen, and then the 2 days between the start are the days that I'll either stretch it out a little bit or stay at 120. It just depends on how I feel that day. Depends if it's March or August. But so in the off season, I do a lot of long toss, a lot of weighted ball stuff, just to build the arm strength back. I've taken about a month off after the season, and in season, I just try and repeat my delivery, just be consistent with things I do. And still to this day, my biggest struggle is the off speed. So that's always my dark horse, I guess. So I'm constantly working on the off speed, repeating delivery, being more consistent. So I mean, there's always something to work on, no matter what. I mean, if you think you're on top of the world, like you're the best pitcher in the world, you still got stuff to work on. I mean, Justin Verlander's got a pitching coach, Kershaw's got a pitching coach. They're still working on stuff. How good you think you are, how good you've been throwing, you still got to work on stuff. So I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is consistency and repeating deliveries and stuff like that. So that's my thing.
Absolutely. Now, so when you got into not long tossing during the season, was that an organizational thing, or was that more of a workload thing that you felt?
That was my decision. I mean, the Tigers aren't against long toss or weighted balls, but that was just for me because I realized I won't be able to long toss 300 feet 3 times a week or my arm's going to fall off. So I made that decision, and my velocity stayed the same. I mean, my arm strength still felt strong. It's just there's a certain time to do it, and for me, it's in the off season to just build that strength back up, and then you got to maintain throughout the season. So, yeah.
Totally makes sense. So you've had a really good minor league career so far, and you're up on the 40-man, like I said. What do you attribute that to? I mean, you pushed through. You're taking your steps. I know everybody, every guy wants to get there earlier. You want to start service time, when you're 19, 20 years old. It happens for some guys, doesn't happen for other guys. You've taken you've had very good path to the bigs. What do you attribute that to? I mean, what are some of the struggles that you've had, in maybe being away from home, And, some guys struggle with that sometimes. What are some of the things that you've, really had to adjust and work on that most guys don't know about or haven't seen, or maybe it wasn't in the paper or something like that?
It wouldn't be the home thing, because I'm kind of used to that now, being away from home. It started with the Canes actually, because that summer before my senior year, I was never home for the summer, so I kind of got used to that in a sense.
And if there isn't anything, that's okay.
No, there are. It's just hard to think about off the top of my head, but I think just taking care of your body for me. Like those bus rides will get you. The 10-hour bus rides will get you. If you don't get a good night's sleep, you can totally tell from your body the next day. It's just small things like eating decent, getting decent sleep, just working out when you're supposed to, just being accountable, I guess. So like getting your lifts in, running when you're supposed to, because like in the higher levels, it's on you to go get your lifts in and do your running in. In low way, we have the training coach say, all right, come on, let's go lift, let's go run, come do this, come do that. But when you get older and you get higher from the levels, you got it's on your own pretty much. You need to, or you have to do things on your own and be accountable for yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing is I was an 18-year-old kid when I got football. Like I didn't know that you had to do all that stuff. And throughout the years, I've gotten to realize that I need to be more. Well, I've gotten more mature, and you just got to be accountable for the stuff that you do on the field, and then when you take care of your business, it'll show whenever you're pitching. So that's what I've taken from it.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can tell that with the way your career has progressed. You're where you are now because of that, because of that accountability and that self accountability.
Right.
And a lot of guys don't know that. They don't know about the bus rides. You might hear about it every now and then, but. And I know those things are out there and really tax you. Driving 10 hours and then having to pitch the next day after being on the bus, I'm sure is a struggle. So again, knocking on the door, you're there at spring training this year, and you're on the 40-man. And how is it going this year? How are you feeling going into spring training this year before everything got shut down?
So I had a weird spring training this year. It was my first big league camp. I was on the roster. I was feeling good about it. My body felt good, but I got to spring training, and my first outing, it just didn't feel right. I pitched awful. I didn't even get 3 outs, I don't think. And my arm just felt weird. My velo was down. I just didn't feel right. And the coaches obviously noticed that my velo was down, and I just didn't look the same as I did before I left last season.
Right.
So I made one appearance in the very first spring training game, and that's when they're like, no, we're going to stop this. We're going to take you to the backfields, and you're going to work on getting back to being yourself. Because, so I got hurt last year. I had bicep tendonitis, and I had a torn oblique. Weird year for me last year. And I think coming into this year, I was kind of not sure about being myself, I guess, on the mound. Like I didn't want to, I was kind of laboring. I guess I didn't want to go full speed because I was scared I was going to get hurt again, I guess. Right. So once that happened, we went on the backfield, and Juan Nieves, the AAA pitching coach for us, awesome dude, and Dan Hubb is our new pitching coach. We went every day for 2 weeks and just worked on being myself, just getting in good rhythm, good mechanics, throwing the ball hard, good arm action, good arm speed, all that stuff. And two weeks after that, I'm back to my old self. I threw a bullpen, and my velo was back in a bullpen, which was pretty surprising to me because I was throwing hard in the bullpen. And then I was scheduled to throw to hitters the week we got sent home for the quarantine. So it started off pretty poorly, and then went back up to how I should have been, throwing hard again, feeling good, feeling healthy, and then quarantine. We got to go home, shut it down. But besides the pitching aspect of it, like, it was cool to be in the big league clubhouse with the big league guys and to just kind of watch the veterans like Zimmerman, Norris, Boyd. It's cool to watch them and watch how they go with their business. And they were so good to us young guys. Like, they would always talk to us about whatever's going on that day, like pitching, baseball or not baseball stuff. So, I mean, they're just good people, and you can just talk about anything. And that was really cool to see is being in there and just them being just good people to like the younger guys.
Yeah, taking you under their wing and you know, trying to give you information, talk to you through things, helping you know what to expect next. You know, that's it. The great thing is that, you know, coming through, you know, the minor league system, you've built your reputation. You've built your reputation as a person. And you talk about that accountability. You know, one of the things we were supposed to get on, you know, a couple different times. One was my fault with some technical issues. But the other 2 times it was, hey, I got to throw. So let's do it. That was cool. So to hear you talk about the accountability part, and the part that people don't know is that we had delays in filming this because you were throwing to hitters and you know, trying to get as prepared as you can. That's a great job of you prioritizing. You know, obviously everybody want to just sit on camera and talk and see Mills's beautiful face.
I was going to say the same thing about you, Younce.
Big donkey over there.
Big donkey.
but the best part about it is, hey, I've got to do this. I've gotten this, and it is your job, and you treat it like your job, but it's also something you love doing. So, you know, the part that people don't see is the part I want them to see, which they haven't, is that you were busy getting prepared. So when the bell does ring and you know, everybody opens up, at least to some extent, where you can play baseball again, you know, you're doing what you need to be ready. How you been throwing? How you been feeling? You know, how's that been going?
Good. So, I mean, I've been home for almost 3 months now, I think is what it is, since we've gotten home. I have a group of guys here that I work out with. They went to TCU, Tyler Alexander, Brandon Finnegan, and Brian Howard. So I got together with them because Tyler Alexander plays for the Tigers also. He's from South Lake, went to TCU, and we played together for the past 3 or so seasons. And in the off season, they have a workout group that works out at TCU. And I asked him if I could join them. And the strength coach allowed me to come work out with all those guys. So this off season, I built a relationship with all the TCU alumni guys, all the guys in pro ball, a lot of good dudes. And so we went off spring training, whatever, and then got sent home. And as for the guys I mentioned, we started playing catch every day at TCU. And some days the field wasn't open, so we would play in the grass by the field, play in the parking lot of the stadium, just wherever we could find a spot to throw, we would throw. And man, the past few months, I've been feeling really good. I went down to the baseball ranch with my pitching coach and got some work in, but like I'm just trying to get back to my old self. And so last Monday, we started throwing to hitters. So the TCU alumni guys that are in pro ball now, we meet up at a field and we throw at each other. And because I think we're going to start it pretty soon. So those guys wanted to see live pitching. We won't see live hitters. So once a week we'll go throw to hitters, and it's good. It's been fun. And I'm feeling really good this year too.
That's good. That's good to hear, man. I have no doubts. I mean, you're a big league person, you're big league talent, and you just need the opportunity. And I know you're going to produce, and I know Millsy feels the same way.
Appreciate that.
Oh man, it speaks for itself. You are all of that. You deserve all of that, and good things happen to good people, and you're doing the right things. You're working out, you're taking care of your body, you're a professional player, man, and you're conducting yourself as that. So what do you think, you know, going forward, what do you think will extend your career? Obviously you have the love of the game. You know, what kind of things are you doing today to help make sure or ensure that you have a long and healthy career? What kind of things are you working on and doing?
I mean, like you said, love of the game, obviously. Staying healthy are the 2 biggest things. Is you got to love it, you got to be healthy. But I think for me, being a good teammate and being a good person on off the field. And then, because I mean, there's guys that I know now that are in their mid-30s that they aren't as good as they once were, but they're just such a good teammate that teams want them to be in the clubhouse, want to be on the field, and that will prolong their career. So I mean, I think just being a good teammate and obviously pitching well, because that's step one is throwing. But then just being a good teammate. I mean, I think that'll take you long way, build good relationships, and just leave a good taste in the person's mouth after they meet you. You know what I mean? And that's my goal.
Absolutely. So I know there were some, and they probably some stories we can't tell on here that we talked about off camera back when you were a Cane. Nothing awful, but just fun. Just not the right type of fun we can talk about here. Millsy, what kind of teammate was Beau? I mean, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but are there any things that kind of stuck out to you? I mean, besides the big donkey and red dragon and all the other nicknames you guys had?
I remember the banging of the bats on the roof of the dugout in Arizona, and us all getting warned right before Petty got ejected out of that game against NorCal that we came back and beat him in. But, you know, that group was a absolute hoot. I mean, they not only pitched well, but they kept you on your toes. And, you know, it's kind of builds on what Beau just was talking about being a good teammate. I mean, they were all in it for each other. And, you know, if you think about the group we had, every one of them was a possible draft pick. I mean, you know, you look at them, we had 4 first-rounders that year. Then we had Logan Allen, who's already made a big league appearances. You know, Evan Sperling had a great career at UVA, Paul Hall. You could just go down a list of all the guys that were successful. But a lot of times you will see that these young kids will turn into themselves. You know, it's all about themselves. But that team was so team-oriented, and that's why, you know, we won Atlanta. We lost in the finals in Arizona because that umpire would not call strikes, and he definitely would not eject anybody.
It's always the umpire's fault.
That's right. I'm going to blame it on him because we played really well out there. And then, you know, and then we won Jupiter. And every challenge that we set forth with that team, they took it as a team. It wasn't individualistic. It was, you know, all about themselves. And the other thing is when we did have an individual, our team took care of it. I mean, I can remember in the dugout in Arizona, our shortstop and second baseman got into it when we're having a little diversity, and our team took care of it. You know, it wasn't anything that Jeff, myself, Tom, you know, at the time, any of us. I think we had Wreck-It Ralph. We had Rob as our
Ralph.
That's right. Not me. It's not me. It's another Rob.
So,
Wreck-It Ralph.
that was the thing about that group and about Beau that was so special, that, you know, it wasn't just about them. Even in the most important times in their lives, they were there for each other, and the unity and the closeness of that group. And, you know, I mean, Beau and Ash, you couldn't separate the two at the time. And it was perfect that they went 21 and 22. I mean,
Been to the same college and then went back-to-back in the draft.
I know, crazy.
They were, yeah. I mean, it was meant to be. And you know, the Canes organization is blessed that both of them chose to be part of it, and all those young men chose to be part of us, and appreciative of everything that they did for us, and how much they taught us, and hopefully we taught them a little bit here and there.
No doubt.
So I got a question. I know we're getting close to time. So you're talking about,
Don't worry about it.
speed. Do you have any? Are you still throwing the big 12-6 power breaking ball, or have you moved to a slider, or what have you done in your off speed?
It's still the curveball. It's a 12-6 when it wants to be, which it's good when it is. But for the most part, yeah, just a 12-6. I throw fastball, 4-seam, change-up, curveball, and then now I'm throwing a little cutter type pitch. And when it wants to cut, it's good. When it doesn't, watch out. But overall, it's good. I saw the same curveballs. Yeah.
So you go. Have you noticed any difference in your changeup? Has that developed more, or to kind of get people off your fastball? Because I know, you know, I'm not sure exactly where your velocity is, but the last time I saw you, you were like 94, 96 sitting, and you know, and I know those guys in pro ball are so used to that now, and seeing so many guys throw that hard. Has the changeup become more of a pitch selection for you, or just to show me? What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, in high school and then early on pro ball, I threw so hard. I didn't really need a changeup, if you will. Like I didn't want to slow down the hitter's bats, so I never threw a changeup. I would only throw fastball, curveball. But when you get in the pro ball, the guys can hit 95. It's not high school kids anymore. So at first it was tough. I mean, I would always slow my arm speed down, and I'll slow my body down, and it just wasn't good. But whenever I keep the same arm action and my body's moving the same speed, it's a good pitch. There's some days it's my best pitch, and there's some days it's not. But I mean, overall, I love my changeup, and I think it'll be a good weapon for me in the future. The coach in Toledo last year, he says when your changeup is on, that will be your best pitch. That will make you succeed in the big leagues. And I said, wow. I hope you're telling the truth, because that'll be huge. I mean, having a good changeup is so crucial now, because I mean, guys hit fastballs, and you throw that pitch that looks like a heater and it's 8 miles an hour slower. That looks silly. So
yeah, I can tell you as a hitter, I hated that worse than anything.
Yeah.
Guy that had a good changeup from same arm spot and tunneled it the same way, I couldn't pick it up. That's why I'm coaching and not hitting it. But yeah, man, that's really cool. That should give you a lot of confidence, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's not blowing smoke, I don't think. I mean, and if he is, then he's just a really good coach that's trying to make you confident in a pitch that's not very good.
Exactly.
But no, he's got you believe in it, you know, thinking that it's a really good pitch, and that's all the, you know.
Yeah,
a lot of times that's all it takes, right?
Yeah, I mean, confidence is key. I mean, even if he wasn't telling the truth, I mean, it still put it in my head, and I mean that I'm like, all right, perfect.
I got it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it's a good confidence booster for sure.
That's right, dude. So tell us a little bit. All right, so we touched on your pro ball. You know, we know where you're going. We're going to see you for a long time on TV. You know, if I'm ever somewhere, hopefully I might be able to hop a seat or something like that. But all joking aside, tell us a little bit about your family. I know you're very close, and I have a very good feeling they have instilled a lot of great values in you, which is what you present to us today as a really great guy. I want to keep saying kid. I mean, you're only 23, but a really great young man. And tell us a little bit about your family, how close you are, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm very close to my mom and dad, and I have 2 brothers. But my parents, and I'm so blessed. I mean, my dad was always constantly saying, go throw, go hit, go lift, go outside, go do something baseball-wise, like get out of the house. And, I mean, the teams I played for growing up, they were always like an hour away for practice. And we would go twice a week for practice, hour away. He always had me and always had me going to practice and was always on me to be a good baseball player. And some kids don't like that because they don't love baseball. I loved it, so I thought, all right, let's do it. It'll pay off one day. So I mean, I just kept with it, and sure enough, I'm here now. But my mom, she's just the quiet mom that's just in the stands clapping, just, let's go. And my dad's always the one on the fence, pacing around, just always on edge. Be the best he's ever seen. I mean, just being a dad, you know. And then but they're good. They're awesome. It's cool to be like a grown up now and be around them, because things are so much different than being in high school and now. And I mean, I feel like I'm treated differently from them and vice versa. It's cool to see that. And then my middle brother, Blake, he just turned 20 years old. He will now be a redshirt sophomore at Kansas State because of the coronavirus. So he's a sophomore this year playing baseball, got sent home and then their school got completely canceled. So he'll be a redshirt sophomore at Kansas State next year. He's a little crafty lefty outfielder, speed guy. So hopefully he puts together a few good years in college and gets drafted. And then little brother's 14. He's a teenager. He's playing a lot of video games and just being a brat. But I mean, we're all super close. We're a tight-knit family. My parents will do anything for any of us. Just a lot of love and a lot of tight-knit stuff going on with the family. So but they're good. Their mom's not working because she's a librarian at a school, so they're shut down. And my dad's just being Buster, as we always say. I mean, whoever knows my dad knows that he's Buster, and everybody always says, "How's your dad?" He's just being Buster. That's all it is. But they're good. They're really good.
You have such a great family. Again, I had the fortune to meet them and to be around them, and just wonderful people. And from that comes a wonderful son. And, again, you're the type of kid that the guy that people are going to root for. I have no doubt that you're going to play a long, long time in this game. You work at it. You've got a great support system. You're grounded. You're very humble. The big saying in baseball is, if you're not humble, the game will humble you. And, you're a very well-grounded, humble kid. So I don't have my doubts at all. Millsy, any closing remarks about Red Dragon here?
Man, it is good to see you, my friend. I can't
Isn't
wait.
it?
Yeah.
It looks so
Good to see
good.
y'all. Hey, I've got one story about Millsy.
Yes.
The very first time I met him was at PG National, and it was before any of the Canes tournaments, like you were saying earlier. And I knew he was pitching coach for the Canes, but I didn't met him before. So I go up to him and we wish each other, blah, 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 meet each other. Pitch this day. And I look down and my pants on my zipper on my pants is broken. So the fly is just wide open. And I'm about to go pitch in front of all these scouts at the biggest event that I had gone to, my career. So, and my fly's wide open. And I'm like, no, my zipper broke. I kid you not. Before I say another word, he takes off in the dugout and gives them to me, and we trade pants so I could pitch in his pants and not have my fly open. And he wore my broken pants while I pitched in his pants. And from then on, I was like, this guy is awesome. That's the epitome of Millsy, is that he'll do anything for you. He's just a great dude. He'll do anything for you. And that was the first day I met him, and it got so much better as time went on, and it just shows what kind of guy Millsy is that he gave me his pants to pitch in.
Couldn't let the dog out,
They were
man.
broke. Remember that?
You know what? And that's funny, Beau, because that's the same way I feel about Millsy. He's a great friend. And that's the neat thing as you get older, and you're talking about your relationship with your parents. It evolves from from you being their kid, which you always will be, but it evolves from them seeing you as a little 6-year-old to now you become now you have that friendship with your parents too, because you can share adult things with them. You can go out to dinner, enjoy drinks, do whatever with your family, because that's just how you are. Well, Millsy, same way. Us as coaches, we start seeing you guys as friends now. It's when we're coaching you, we're definitely not friends. We love you, we'll push you, but we've got a job to take care of you and hopefully make you better. But as I know I speak for Millsy a little bit here of seeing you guys grow up. It's neat because then you do become friends. Yeah. Am I right, Mills?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, man, Beau, it has been incredible. You've been awesome. You are, you're one of the guys that we root for all the time. You're just a great dude, and soon the people of Detroit will be able to see how great of a guy you are. I know I don't need to say this, but keep working hard. I know you've got your eye on the prize, and making the 25-man roster is the goal, and I have no doubt at all that you will achieve it. We will be watching you for a long, long time, man. Stay safe down there. The Canes are lucky to have worn our uniform, and I know all of our guys are going to be watching you and rooting for you. So, really appreciate you as a person. Really appreciate you coming on today, because I know you got a lot of things to do. But thank you so much, and hopefully when all this fires back up, man, you just hit the ground running and play with your hair on fire and do your job and be in that Detroit dugout for the entire year.
That's the plan. Hey guys, thank y'all so much. I miss y'all. Hope to see y'all soon. Stay safe. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
All right, bud. Take it easy, buddy.
See y'all.
Red Dragon out.
Red Dragon out.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us today. Big shout out to Beau for being with us. Give him a follow on social media at the Beau Burrows. If you enjoy this episode, like, comment, subscribe, review, and share. Give us a follow on social media at Canecast Show. You can reach out to me on all social channels at robyounce or email me at robyounce@gmail.com. I welcome your feedback as I try to improve this show every single episode. So stay safe, wash your hands, and just smile because baseball's right around the corner. Until next time, take it easy.